On April 11th, 2024, can we please stand for the pledge? Thank you. And welcome everybody on this rainy night. Thank you for being here. Item number 3, standing approval items. Do we have any additions or deletions to the agenda? Seeing none, agenda passes as listed. 3.2, approval of minutes. Can I have a recommendation, please? Mrs. Cook?
Resolved that the Royal Oak Schools Board of Education approves the following minutes: March 7th, 2024, special minutes for finance and facilities, and March 14th, 2024, regular minutes.
Thank you. Can I have a second? Mrs. Anderson, can we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Jasinski?
Yes.
Trustee Cook?
Yes.
I'll vote yes. Trustee Alexander?
Yes.
Trustee Jaworski?
Yes.
Trustee Van Heitzma?
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you so much. At this time is our first public comment, item number 4. If you would like to make a public comment, a person may address the board on an agenda or non-agenda item by completing a note card located inside the boardroom and place the card in the basket prior to the citizen public comment period. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. If you need more time, you are afforded a second opportunity to address the board at the end of the meeting with an additional 3 minutes. Please address the board as a whole and not individually. Public comment is not intended for the exchange of dialogue. This is a time for members of the public to express their views. We are paying attention to your comments and appreciate them. However, school board members do not respond to public comment during the meeting. Questions that arise from public comment shall be referred to the superintendent or their designee for review, study, and possible future response. Thank you in advance for your cooperation. Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 5, proclamations and recognitions. 5.1, Board Proclamation, Autism Acceptance Month. Mrs. Alexander.
Thank you. Whereas autism spectrum disorder affects more than 5 million people in the United States, and whereas Centers for Disease Control and Prevention report that 1 in 36 children may have autism, and whereas autism is a neurological and developmental disorder characterized by social impairment and restricted interactive and communication behaviors and can affect anyone regardless of race, ethnicity, gender, or socioeconomic background. And whereas symptoms and characteristics of autism may present in a variety of combinations and can result in significant lifelong challenges in areas affecting learning, daily living, employment, social interactive behaviors, and understanding verbal and nonverbal communications. Whereas the efforts to address autism continue, physicians, psychologists, behavior analysts, speech and language pathologists, occupational therapists, vocational rehabilitation professionals, educators, and other providers can assist persons with autism and their families by supporting early identification, education, healthcare, service provision, intervention, employment, recreation, and other opportunities that are vital to enhanced development and well-being. And whereas it is critical to ensure that persons living with autism have access to the lifelong supports and services needed to pursue the full measure of personal happiness, independence, and community inclusion to achieve their greatest potential. And whereas much more can be done to better support individuals with autism as they strive to acquire, maintain, and advance in employment pathways that best support their interests and needs, including collaboration among state agencies, families, providers, payers, and advocacy organizations, providing individualized and custom support, offering comprehensive training, and conducting better advocacy and outreach strategies. And whereas Royal Oak Schools is honored to celebrate the many ways individuals with autism enhance the quality of our community and is committed to fostering acceptance and a sense of belonging as we work together to create a more welcoming and inclusive state for all. Now, therefore, the Royal Oak Schools Board of Education does hereby proclaim April 2024 as Autism Acceptance Month.
Thank you. Can we have a second, please? Mrs. Cook. Can we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Cook?
Yes.
I'll vote yes. Trustee Alexander?
Yes.
Trustee Jaworski?
Yes.
Trustee Van Heitzma?
Yes.
Trustee Jasinski?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Item 5.2, Board Proclamation, National Arab American Heritage Month. Mr. Jaworski?
Whereas Michigan has the highest concentration of Arab Americans in the United States, and whereas the first immigration of individuals of Arabian descent to the U.S. dates back to the late 1800s and has continued for more than 200 years, and whereas Arab Americans have enriched our society by sharing our nation's entrepreneurial spirit, having a strong work ethic, resilient family values, and diversity in faith and creed, and being dedicated to education along with adding strength to our great democracy. And whereas the history of Arab Americans in the U.S. remains neglected or defaced by misconceptions, bigotry, and anti-Arab racism in the forms of crime and hate speech. And whereas Arab American issues such as civil rights abuses, bullying, and harmful stereotyping must be combated through greater education and awareness. And whereas it is important to recognize the heritage and culture of such an inspiring group of people and ensure tolerance, inclusion, and equity for all in our state. Now therefore be it resolved, the Royal Oak Schools Board of Education does hereby proclaim April 2024 as National Arab American Heritage Month.
Thank you. Can I have a second, please? Mrs. Alexander. Can we have a roll call, please?
I'll vote yes. Trustee Alexander?
Yes.
Trustee Jaworski?
Yes.
Trustee Van Heitzma?
Yes.
Trustee Jasinski?
Yes.
Trustee Cook?
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you. Item 5.3, Board Proclamation, Protect My Kids Pill Package in the Michigan Legislature. Mrs. Anderson.
Whereas the Royal Oak Schools Board of Education is committed to safeguarding the health and well-being of its community, recognizes the adverse impacts of tobacco use on its residents, particularly its youth, and whereas Royal Oak, as part of the Tobacco Nation, sees higher rates of tobacco use and related diseases, contributing to 16,200 deaths annually and over $5.33 billion in healthcare costs, which necessitates urgent action to combat this public health crisis. And whereas the Royal Oak Schools Board of Education notes with concern the increasing incidence of vaping among students within the district. And whereas the proposed Protect MI Kids bill package, comprising Senate Bills 647 through 654, offers comprehensive reform with measures such as enabling local control over tobacco sales, instituting taxes on e-cigarettes, banning flavored tobacco products, and establishing a statewide tobacco retail licensing program, thereby representing a pivotal step toward mitigating tobacco use against Michigan's youth. And whereas the Protect MI Kids bill package directly addresses the challenges faced by communities like Royal Oak in protecting our young citizens from the allure and addiction of tobacco products, with specific emphasis on the insidious spread of vaping among school-aged children. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Royal Oak Schools Board of Education expresses its unwavering support for the Protect MI Kids bill package and urges the Michigan legislature to enact these crucial measures without delay, to empower local jurisdictions in their fight against tobacco and ensure the health and safety of all Michigan's children, including those in the Royal Oak community. And be it further resolved that the Royal Oak Schools Board of Education will send a copy of this resolution to both the Michigan Senate and House of Representatives, Governor Gretchen Whitmer, and Governor Gretchen Whitmer.
Thank you. Can we have a second, please? Ms. Jasinski. Can we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Alexander.
Yes.
Trustee Jaworski.
Yes.
Trustee Van Heitzma.
Yes.
Trustee Jasinski. Trustee Cook.
Yes.
And I'll vote yes. Motion passes.
Thank you. And one more board proclamation, item number 5.4, Earth Day, April 22nd, 2024. Ms. Jasinski.
Thank you. It's a quicker one. Whereas together we can overcome environmental challenges and leave our future generations with cleaner air and water and a healthier environment. And whereas Earth Day is a time to come together with the rest of the world's citizens to celebrate the efforts of young and old alike who strive to improve the environment not only for the benefit of today, but also for generations to come. And whereas on Earth Day and every day, we are encouraged to preserve our natural resources by participating in efforts to reduce consumption and waste, encourage recycling, utilize renewable resources, eliminate pollution, and conserve water, land, and energy. And whereas on Earth Day, we should appreciate the planet we live on, recognize the many environmental issues we are facing, and recommit ourselves to doing our part in Planet vs. Plastic, which is this year's Earth Day theme. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Royal Oak Schools Board of Education hereby proclaims April 22nd, 2024 as Earth Day.
Thank you. Can we have a second, please? Mrs. Anderson, can we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Jaworski,
Yes.
Trustee Van Heitzma,
Yes.
Trustee Jasinski,
Yes.
Trustee Cook.
Yes.
I'll vote yes. Trustee Alexander.
Yes.
And that motion passes as
Thank you very much. Item number 5.5, donations. Mrs. Fitzpatrick?
Thank you. As we often do at this time of the meeting, we recognize community groups that want to sponsor and really help out the local teams and groups. And so tonight we want to acknowledge the VFW in Royal Oak in their donation to the girls soccer program.
Thank you. Is there anybody here from? Okay. All right, thank you. Can we have a recommendation, please? Mr. Jaworski?
Resolved that the Royal Oak Schools Board of Education gratefully accepts the following donations as presented to Jocelyn the VFW for $7,873 to go towards the Royal Oak High School girls soccer.
Thank you. Can I have a second, please? Mrs. Alexander? Can we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Van Heitzma,
Yes.
Trustee Jasinski,
Yes.
Trustee Cook.
Yes.
I'll vote yes. Trustee Alexander.
Yes.
Trustee Jaworski.
Yes.
The motion passes. We're very grateful.
Yes, thank you very much. We appreciate that. Item number 6, presentations and reports. Item 6.1, Royal Oak High School Art Students Recognition. Mrs. Fitzpatrick?
Yes, thank you. Again, this is a wonderful time when we can honor our students for all of their achievements. Often we don't know everything that's going on in the schools and all of the wonderful and creative students that we have. So tonight is a time where we're going to ask Ms. Ashburn to specifically talk about some of the honors earned by our art students here in the district. Ms. Ashburn?
Good evening. Paula, what do I need to magically do to show artwork? She's going to set me up. I will start by saying that I had to call Paula earlier today to add yet another page of recognitions because we had more. We have 2 outstanding art teachers who can come up to be recognized also. I have Alicia Duncan and Nancy Sly. Alicia has been with the district for 10 or 11 years. She's only been at the high school this year, and Nancy has been at Royal Oak High School just this year. And so next year, this will be a lot longer probably because this is with 1 year's worth of work. They have been super enthusiastic. They just are guiding students and very creative. So I'm very happy to tell you about all the things that we have. I'm gonna go through the artwork. I'm not sure the best way because there's so many students, but why don't I just show you the artwork and then I can go through. This is Aiden Brock. Aiden, you are here, so why don't you come on up? You can stand over here because there's gonna be a long line of you guys. Aiden is in 9th grade, and this was Dom. It's a colored pencil drawing, and Miss Duncan was his teacher, and he has an honorable mention for the Scholastic Art exhibition. Also, we have Ava Parks, who I don't think is here. Ava is, hit the button. Nope, this is Eloise, sorry. I'll find Ava's. Maybe? There's Ava. Ava Parks, called Lucky Koi. It's a sculpture. She could not attend. There's some conflicts with some sporting events. Nancy Sly is her teacher. Another student who is not here is Catherine Bouye. She is a 12th grader. She did the Kiwi. See if I remember where that was. I don't mind looking at all of them. There it is. And that is a sculpture. And then we also have, and this person is with us, Mariana Van Fleet. Where are you, Mariana? There you go. Come on up. There she is. And Pedro in ceramic. And the three students, Ava, Catherine, and Mariana, they all got honorable mention for the Scholastic Art Exhibition. Keep walking that way, guys, because more people are coming on up. The gold key for the Scholastic Art Exhibition went to Caitlin Scripter. Is she after? There she is. She had a shark sculpture and received a gold key. Nancy Sly is her teacher. Next, I don't have a picture of this item, but we're recognizing this student who I also had as an elementary student, so I was familiar with Aiden. Aiden Wilson, his mother, come on up. Oh, it is? I didn't see, did I miss it? Okay. Let me see. Oh, see, I missed it. Come on up, Aiden. And it was colored pencil, Child's Right to Recreation was the title. Aiden actually worked on this at home with his very talented mother, Melissa Wilson, who is a retired art teacher, who I'm familiar with as I worked with her at Northwood because she was very prominent with our PTA. So excellent work. Congratulations to you guys. The next person I would like to call up is Jack Perez. Come on up, Jack. There's Jack. Jack, another Northwood student. Sorry, guys. I have a lot of students. It's kind of been fun getting to know these people. Again, annual National K-12 Ceramic Exhibition. Mrs. Sly is his teacher. This ceramic work he created, Diplodocus? Diplodocus, thank you, has been selected by the juror for inclusion in this year's annual National K-12 Ceramic Exhibition in Richmond, Virginia, from 3/20 through 3/22. It was seen by thousands of visitors from all over the world, many of whom were in Richmond for the particular conference. It was a National K-12 Ceramic Conference, so we were honored to be able to share this with you guys, so thank you. You can stay up there. The last one we got, we had three. We have the Michigan Art Education Association Top 100 exhibit. Anna Young, come on up. I'll find you, Anna. Anna has, it says the pollinators, but I think it was called mandala, so that's fine. We can correct that later. Mixed media, she's 12th grader. This will be displayed at the Michigan Department of Education for 1 year, so it's quite an honor. Miss Duncan was her teacher, and Brooke Fox. Brooke is a 9th grader, and Brooke has, let's see if I can find it, the Zen Portrait, mixed media, and Ms. Sly is her teacher. She also will have her artwork displayed at the Michigan Department of Education for 1 year. The next person who is not here is Eloise. I don't believe Eloise. No, I didn't see her. Okay. Oh, I think was she in the beginning? Yeah. I think we all have it memorized now, except for me. I don't mind looking at it again, though. 9th grader, backyard garden memories, mixed media. This particular item is going to be in the governor's traveling exhibit for the year. So lots of great honors for all of our artists, and we look forward to more things in the future for all of them. So thank you, and all their families, they've had a lot of support, so a lot of their families came also. So thank you, guys.
Well, thank you so much for coming here, and your work is amazing. Thank you to the teachers, too, for supporting these students, and for the families that have come as well to support the students. The artwork is just astounding. I hope you guys continue to pursue your art interests beyond high school, and continue to do it for those of you that are still within high school. But it's just amazing. I have zero artistic talent, so when I see things like this, I am just utterly impressed. So thank you so much. I don't know, does any of our other board members have any comments? Yeah. So thank you very much, and such honors. Just kudos to all of you, for sure. Mrs. Fitzpatrick.
Thank you. So students, I just want to say thank you for sharing your talents with us, but it makes us even more proud to know that your name, your work, and the district's name is out there for, as we heard, thousands of other people to share over time. So to have your art be selected for an award is great, and then to have it shared with so many other people is another honor for you. So I also hope that you pursue art in your future because you're all very, very talented, and we're very proud. So thank you for sharing that with all of us.
And definitely thank you for coming here with your families this evening as well. Thank you. Item 6.2, Royal Oak Schools Teacher of the Year recognition, Mr. Walensky.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Van Heidsma. Teacher of the Year. Each year we participate in the Oakland County Outstanding Teacher of the Year and Support Person of the Year. It's sponsored by Oakland Schools and is evident by some additional people in our audience. This is the night when we want to recognize those people. This is something we've participated in since the 2007-2008 school year, and if you haven't seen the plaques out here on the hallway, we list the names of all past recipients of that award, some of whom are here this evening. Participation in this program. So this in this program involves our identification of one teacher from each level, high school, middle school, and elementary. So 3 teachers from the district who are, according to the criteria, examples of the highest standards of excellence in the profession, as well as one support person from our K-12 programs who likewise fits that criteria. So let's start with our Teachers of the Year. I want to say we have it changes sometimes, but we have over 360 teachers in Royal Oak. So it's hard to pick one Teacher of the Year, but we have many teachers who are exceptional and could serve as examples of excellence. But once a year, we select 3 for this distinction, which is just a way of putting a spotlight on some of the great things that happen daily in our students' classrooms. So the criteria for nomination, they have to be nominated by a colleague with letters of support from a parent and a current or former student, and then the building principal has to oversee the nomination and submit it. So we're gonna go in no particular order, but let's go with our high school first. At this time, I'd like to introduce our high school Teacher of the Year, Kirsten Williams. Kirsten has been teaching for Royal Oak since August of 2017, and here to share a little bit about her, I believe. Well, Angela, are you doing the presentation? Angela Ashburn. Angela, principal of Royal Oak High School.
We already did a presentation at Royal Oak High School, and Mary Beth was there, and Pat and Joe Ioannis were all there. It's pages, as Mr. Walensky said, of information that we have to submit, and it's really a tribute to Kirsten to have students, teachers, paraprofessionals write so many outstanding letters for her, and then I had to sift through them. And at the high school, we have a nomination process, so it's her colleagues. But also what's important to know is she's a representative of all the teachers at Royal Oak High School. So she's showing the qualities that we like to see in all of our educators. But I'm gonna pick the quality I think is the most outstanding. Meeting the individual needs of students, which I think is really important. Through her unwavering commitment to differentiated instruction, academic coaching, and a genuine passion for student success, Kirsten has truly made a profound impact on the learning experience of our students. One of her standout qualities is her mastery of differentiated instruction. She recognizes the unique learning styles, strengths, and challenges of each student and tailors her teaching methods accordingly. She takes everybody into her classes, whether through personalized assignments, varied assessment strategies, or collaborative learning opportunities. Kirsten ensures that every student has the opportunity to thrive and reach their full potential. As a teacher, she goes above and beyond traditional teaching responsibilities. She actively engages with students to identify areas for improvement, set realistic goals, and provide ongoing support. This personalized coaching approach not only enhances academic performance, but also instills a sense of confidence and self-efficacy in students, empowering them to overcome their challenges. The success of students is at the heart of everything she does and her teaching philosophy. She invests time and effort in understanding the aspirations and dreams of her students, creating a positive atmosphere, and she motivates her students to excel. In summary, she stands out as an exemplary educator who not only embraces the concept of instruction, but embodies it in every aspect of her teaching. Through academic coaching, personalized attention, and steadfast commitment to student success, Kirsten has left an indelible mark on the educational journey of all of her students, making her truly deserving of Teacher of the Year. It's been a pleasure because I'm also her evaluator. I know people don't like to talk about that, but so I've been able to see all these qualities in her.
Oh, am I supposed to say something? Well, goodness, it's been a huge honor to get this recognition. I made a Facebook post about it. You know, nobody ever goes into education with the idea of wanting accolades, but it's meant a lot to feel seen and by our community, by our parents, by my colleagues. This is my 7th year in Royal Oak Schools. I taught for 9 years in Texas, and I grew up in this area. And so when our family moved back from Texas, we were immediately just thankful that it felt like home and it was good to be home. And so this community, ever since I've been back, has felt like home. And so I'm thankful for being a part of it. And the students are those who keep me going every day. And I'm thankful for them and to have a program that also gets to be out in the community all the time, because that's what choir gets to do. So we're happy to always perform for everybody. So thank you so much for all this. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much. I know I hear your students pop up at different places, like even tag days, at the personal project open house in the hallways. And even, I think, in the drama performances, I know that you coach the students as well, and just listening to their voices is just you know, right here. So thank you for all you do, and I'm grateful that our district supports the performing arts and that we have so many talented students that you are able to interact with and train and teach. So thank you very much.
Can I say really quick, one shameless plug? Our tag days is in 2 weeks. And so you'll see all of our choir kids around Royal Oak School, or around the community, the weekend of April 26th, 27th, 28th. So come say hi to them at like grocery stores.
That was a good plug. That's a good plug.
Okay, the individual nominated for the Teacher of the Year at Royal Oak Middle School is Lindsay Potterack. Lindsay was also hired in August of 2017, and she currently works as a math interventionist at Royal Oak Middle School. And here to speak about why Lindsay was nominated is the Assistant Principal, Jason Henshaw. I hope you're speaking, Jason. And are we just coming to see this? And her colleague who nominated her, Kate Chambers, also a past recipient of this award. And Carrie, are you saying anything? Is Carrie DeManner? Oh, Carrie, okay. Carrie's here to observe.
Kate Chambers is going to talk more about Lindsay, but I just wanted to say briefly how impressed I am every day with Lindsay, working with each individual student to ensure that they're learning every day. And everything she does in our school, whether it's working with kids or extracurricular events, is always done to the highest degree. So I'm very proud to say I work with her, and here is Kate Chambers.
He's running away now. So I'm so excited to have the pleasure of speaking on behalf of Lindsay Potterack, Royal Oak Middle School's Teacher of the Year. We got hired at the same time, and from day one, I felt really privileged to work with her. And from each day since, she has shown not only me, but everyone else what an incredible teacher she is. Lindsay has built a math intervention program from the ground up at Royal Oak Middle School and has shown to have extreme success with student growth and confidence. She applied and received a grant for Black Girl Magic Boxes to give out monthly to her intervention students, which are meant to boost confidence, enhance understanding, and connect math to the real world.
This goes above and beyond her job description, showing her dedication to her students. I have never known someone who can learn the names of so many students in one day. It's quite remarkable. Not only that, but she also takes time to get to know her students' interests, likes, dislikes, and dreams. She is constantly having students come into her room just to say hi, and I think that shows a lot about the connections and relationships she has been able to build. Not only does Lindsay go above and beyond for her students, but she also does the same for her colleagues. She keeps groups organized, working around the schedules of others, and takes part in our MTSS meetings, bringing valuable data and information about students to the forefront of the conversation. I, along with countless others, have learned so much about differentiating, SEL, and DEI because of being able to co-teach and work directly with Lindsay throughout the years here at ROMS. Furthermore, she has organized and opened up conversations between the elementary interventionists in order to better help create a consistent and coherent MTSS procedure for determining intervention needs. Lindsay has taken on extra roles in the building, such as student council advisor and union representative. She has guided and led students and colleagues to improve morale and community within the building. As a student council advisor, she helps to organize charitable events and drives to help those in the community and students within our building. She has also worked to build up events like Bulldog Games and Gator Ball to keep the school spirit alive and well at ROMS. She also had a group of her student council members show up that morning early on late start to come and support and see her receive this award. Kristen's really sad that she couldn't be here today, but she asked me to read this for her. Lindsay, I'm sorry I couldn't be here tonight to celebrate you, but from what I've learned about you over the past 2 years, you'd much rather have Kate and Carrie here anyway. Am I right? Thank you for the hard work and dedication you show every single day to our students, their families, and our staff. There is no one more deserving of this award than you. Congratulations, with love and admiration, Kristen. And from the rest of us, you totally deserve this. Congrats.
I'm going to echo Mrs. Williams and just saying that this is a true honor and privilege to earn this award. I stay at Royal Oak Middle School because of the strong sense of community and friendship that we have as a staff. The fact that Kristen literally said she thinks that I'd rather be here with Kate and Carrie says a lot about our building. I've made some of my best friends at Royal Oak Middle School, and it is a true privilege to work there. So thank you very much.
I do have to do a shout out. So I was at the, just a kudos to the Stuco side of your work. I was at the student staff volleyball game last Friday, and watching the logistics flow of students coming and going, and you're on the microphone and directing and all this. And, you know, the kids were just having a blast. The staff were having a blast. I mean, it really does speak to the culture within the school and the school spirit. So thank you. That was just, it was a lot of fun to watch. So, and just kudos to everything that you're doing in the building that just continues to support the community and the students and the staff. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Our elementary school teacher of the year, this year's elementary school teacher of the year is Lois Mann, kindergarten teacher for Oak Ridge Elementary, who happens to be in her 50th year of teaching, which deserves distinction of its own. She began in 1974, so quite impressive. And here to speak about Lois are Dr. Jason Parrott, principal of Oak Ridge Elementary, and her colleague, I think of 34 years, Mary Kosnick, who was nominated for this award herself a few years ago. So if Dr. Parrott and Ms. Kosnick, if you want to go to the podium.
Lois does not really like the spotlight, so I promised her, as always, that I would keep this brief. I cannot say the same about Mary, so I don't know how long this is. In Lois's 50 years of teaching, she has positively impacted tens of thousands of people. She has been a teacher, a listening ear to parents, to nervous parents, a mentor, a colleague, and a friend. And I can say that wholeheartedly with absolute certainty because she's been all those to me personally. So there's not really much more you can say about her that has not been said already, but I'm going to turn it over to Mary, who will find a way to do that.
I cut some of my letter that I wrote to honor her. I really did. I cut some of it out. I'm like, I can't go too long, but I did have to honor her in all of her deserving ways with much of what I had originally written on her behalf. So I am honored to be here this evening to introduce Mrs. Lois Mann, who was recently named the Royal Oak Schools Elementary Teacher of the Year. This year marks Lois Mann's 50th year of teaching for the Royal Oak School District. Mrs. Mann is truly the heart of Oak Ridge Elementary and has been so for these past 50 years. How do you put into words the deep and lasting impact that one person, one teacher, Mrs. Lois Mann, has made on so many lives over so many years? Since the fall of 1973, Mrs. Mann has been welcoming kindergarteners into the classroom at Oak Ridge Elementary. She has a gift of nurturing the shyest child and channeling the most boisterous student. She sees the beauty and uniqueness of each child, lifting them to be successful learners and human beings. She has a keen ability to recognize each student's academic and social emotional needs and works tirelessly to find the resources needed for all students to be successful. Lois is a true champion for children, an advocate for every student that walks through her doors. Now I'm getting nervous. I don't know why, but I am. A little bit more about her creativity. I mean, it's just beyond, and she comes by it so naturally. It is so evident when you walk in her classroom how creative she is. When you watch her have students counting the seeds in the heads of sunflowers, watching chicken eggs hatch, or passionately writing stories, emulating their latest featured author. The positive sense of self-worth that she encourages in her students is immeasurable. One example, it happens to be out right now if anyone wants to pop over, is they could walk in on a given morning with many different surprises, but they've walked in and there's a little mirror and lots of pencils. They run up to the mirror, there's a note that says you are an author, and it's, who is the actual author that you're honoring in there? David Kirk, yeah. So she has this little mouse, I think, but anyway, they're so excited. They come in and they see that they're the author now today, that they could write a story just like they were read to the day before. So adorable. And off they go to write their latest piece. She is a natural at creating positive inner scripts for kindergarten kids about themselves, about learning, and about their love for school. This positive influence she has on her students lead to many graduates coming back to see her for a hug and taking pictures in their former seats or in the bathtub, the infamous bathtub. Anyway, as a nurturer of families, which we have the parent and the student here that also wrote letters, and another student here, and their letters are just amazing, but I decided I couldn't read them all. But anyway, her nurturing of families is she invites these people to be partners. Her families become part of her life, truly. I mean, as you know, we've got 40-year-old previous students. Anyway, they become part of her life, and Lois doesn't lose sight of any child that has walked through those doors. Anyway, she dialogues with families, she provides supports, leads with love always. She is loved by all who meet her and have been lucky enough to call her their child's teacher. In addition, these many young parents who once were her students come back finding them wanting to have their child to be with the legendary Mrs. Mann. It is truly profound, a gift to a family to know and love Mrs. Mann over many generations. I promise I'm almost done. She, Mrs. Lois Mann, is synonymous with kindergarten, with Oak Ridge Elementary, and with Royal Oak Schools. I am proud to call her my colleague and friend, as are our friends in the audience. She has been loved by her students, their families, her colleagues, in the Royal Oak School District for 50 years and deserves to be awarded our Royal Oak Elementary Teacher of the Year.
thank you, everybody. This is amazing, and very much appreciated. Okay, I grew up in Royal Oak. I went to Royal Oak schools. I went to Grant Elementary, which is no longer. I went to Keller Junior High and Dondero High School. When I was in kindergarten, I wanted to be a kindergarten teacher when I grew up. So I told my kindergarten teacher, Juanita Davidson, to please not retire until I got out of college. And for poor Mrs. Davidson, because I would go back every year and see her and talk to her and say, now remember, you can't retire till I'm out of college. And luckily, I graduated and I got a job in Royal Oak. And the very first day of school, I got a message in my mailbox from Mrs. Davidson, and it said, congratulations, I'm glad you finally made it, but I'm still here. So, I've just been, very lucky to live my whole life, and go to school in Royal Oak and to still be teaching. And, I love it. I can't think, people go, oh, now it's 50 years, you're going to retire. No, I'm not. So I can't think of what else I could do and enjoy as much as I do. So thank you, everybody. And it was really fun to walk in and see one of my, I'm not going to tell you how old she is, but students right here. So, and her mom, who's also being, so thank you so much.
Before the meeting, I told Mrs. Mann that she's a special person. Kindergartners, their first days in school, and I think even more challenging is kindergarten parents. So I remember when my oldest went to kindergarten, I was the one that struggled, not my child. So, thank you for being so dedicated to that, our children's first experience in school and sometimes our family's first experience in school. And just for, your support and your devotion. And thank you so much and congratulations.
Okay, as I said earlier, we also each year recognize one support person from our district, from one of our K through 12 programs. In addition to our outstanding teachers, we annually recognize one support person of the year who exemplifies excellence among support staff. We have over 150 support staff employees in Royal Oak, which is a lot. And like our teachers, too many to acknowledge individually. But so much of our success as a school district is really dependent upon them on a day-in, day-out basis. This year's support person of the year is Terry Kramer, an employee of the district for 32 years, which is long but doesn't sound as impressive. Terry works as a paraprofessional at Adams Early Childhood Center, and Terry was one of the first people I met when I came to the district 25 years ago. At this time, I'd like to ask Danielle Truesdale, Supervisor of Early Childhood Education, to introduce her and say a few words on her behalf.
So I think, like so much of Royal Oak being a small community, tonight's theme is about community. And so we see Terry Kramer, who's been a part of the Royal Oak Schools community for 32 years. And her time started as volunteering at Oak Ridge with her children, probably in Lois Mann's class, while Dr. Parrott was also a student, probably along those lines. And so I had the wonderful opportunity to meet Terry when I first came here. I was at Whittier Elementary, another building, no longer here, but that's okay. So that was probably a little over probably around 21, 22 years ago. I came in as a kindergarten teacher, and Terry was doing the Acorns program. So for those of us that don't remember, that was the other half of kindergarten when kindergarten was half day. So if I had my students in the morning, they would go to Mrs. Kramer in the afternoon. So we shared students. There was never a time where I was, concerned, oh, my students are going to go to this next class and what's going to happen there. the communication was fabulous, the opportunity that our children got the other half of the day, and the care and the nurturing that they got from Terry was always going to be the absolute best. So that was a unique experience that I had with Terry many years ago. So Terry has been she's been a parent volunteer in the district. She's been probably a lunch lady or lunch mom. Once upon a time is what it was called, but it certainly supported our lunch program during the day. She has been a parapro in many different settings at Acorns program. She has been part of the middle school program for our ASD population. Was that at Adams at that point? Well, Adams when it was the middle school. Yes. She's, basically whatever was asked of her, she went and did it, and did it very well, and dedicated everything to it. So I was lucky to then cross paths again as a teacher at the ECC. She was right across the hall, so it was wonderful to have TK, as we lovingly refer to her, right there in case I needed something, whether it was support with a parent or just, hold my head while I cry a bit this afternoon, or, certainly all the children that we shared. I do love every time she gives them her little, oh dear, as they're off doing whatever they're maybe not supposed to be doing, but anyway, Terry is just a joy to have as part of our building at the ECC. She has dedicated many days and hours inside the school, outside of the school, for all of our families amongst the community. So I want to say thank you, Terry. And then Susan Blomberg has been working, she's the lead teacher in the classroom, so Terry has been supporting Susan in our early childhood special ed classroom. That's been most recently, how many years is that? 11 years. So that's been the most recent stint, has been 11 years in our early childhood special ed classroom, which brings some challenges, some fun, some challenges, but always a busy day. So do you want to say anything? Something? Come on up.
Yes. So I came back into the classroom from early intervention in 2013, and Terry was there the year prior with another teacher. And so I inherited a very good partner. She has been my partner. We're Lucy and Ethel. So just a little history there. But I told her she couldn't retire. And I mean, even if I had to push her around in a wheelchair, I would do it because I can't do my job without her. She's been a great source because of her Acorn experience too. She brought a lot of great ideas to the classroom, and stop at garage sales and find cool things, because we have kids with a variety of needs, some with physical limitations and definitely cognitive limitations. So she's always thinking of the kids, always finding fun little things for them to do, poems, songs, finger plays, art activities. I used to call her my literacy coordinator, my art coordinator, all of the hats she would wear. So I appreciate her. Jackie came on board from another classroom several years back, so they are my right and left arms. And I honestly couldn't have done the last 11 years in the classroom without her. So I appreciate her very much, and she deserves this very, very, very much. So congratulations, Terry.
In fact, there's just a team. Terry originally was planning on retiring last year. And, we thought, okay, this is it. She's going out on top. And then she decided, well, wait, Susan's going to be leaving this year. And so Terry hung on one more year so they can go out together on top. So that's the plan.
No
so,
wheelchairs either.
No wheelchairs. That's right.
The year's not over, Susan.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hi, I would just like to thank everybody for this recognition and honor. And I truly started my career in Royal Oak Schools in 1988 because of Lois Mann. Really. She made me feel so welcome in her classroom, and I just loved it. The bathtub, the letter people. I couldn't wait to see what letter person was next. And, from my volunteering, then I got asked to be the lunch lady. And I loved doing that unless they were selling Capri juice boxes at Target over the weekend, because I'd be opening 100 of those Capri juice boxes. And then I was asked to do the Acorn program. Thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to get paid now to have fun at school. But I've loved working at Royal Oak Schools, and my daughter's here, and she's very successful because of the education she received. And thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much. It's kind of interesting to see the connections within the community. We talk about what a small community we are, and we truly are a small community, just listening to everybody that spoke today. And just, thank you so much for your years of service. And support people are so critical to us and our staff being able to do what they need to do every day. So thank you, and thank you for your years of service, and just have fun. Thank you. Mrs. Fitzpatrick.
Thank you. So I know that getting the awards is a moment in time, much like the letters that we write, excuse me, and the applications that we file. But when you think about the collective years of all of you being honored tonight, and that Jason is right, tens of thousands of adults, colleagues, and children's lives that you have touched and bettered by the work that you do. There are thousands of stories behind each one of them. And publicly, I would just ask our community that if you have had any of these wonderful educators in your time here in Royal Oak, recognize them with a note to the school for them, because we often don't hear from the families after time. And as a former teacher myself, I know when I do hear about what's up with the families and children that I once had, it's very meaningful. So we'll try to continue this recognition forward, and all those postcards and mail that we get, we will forward to all of you. But congratulations to all of you, and thank you for representing our district so well. We're truly proud, and our heart is with you. Thank you.
Tough acts to follow. Item 6.4, trauma-informed training. Dr. Ioannis?
Thank you, Mrs. Van Heitzma. I will try my best to follow wonderful accolades given to all of our wonderful teachers and staff. Okay, so in an effort to gain a better understanding of how trauma impacts our students and staff during the 2022-2023 school year, we began to work with Shenandoah Chefalo, a trauma-informed consultant. And the purpose of that was really to begin to get a better understanding of how to support our students and staff. And tonight, Jennifer Nipper, our supervisor of continuous improvement, is here to talk about how we've taken that initial step in training opportunity with the consultant and moved it forward here now, almost into our second full school year. So I'll turn it over to Jennifer now.
Hi, good evening, everyone. What a wonderful night tonight. I feel so privileged to be here tonight. I don't present very often here, but I was chosen to come tonight, and I'm glad I did because I got to be a part of all these celebrations, so it's very exciting. So trauma-informed training is a part of our social-emotional learning goal for our staff and student wellness here in Royal Oak. And our training began last spring, and today I'm just going to talk a little bit about our journey in our training and where we're going to go from here. So our journey started last year in the spring, and as Dr. Ioannis said, it started with the expert in this field, Shenandoah Chefalo, and she came in and trained our first 3 cohorts of staff. So our first 3 cohorts happened last year in the spring, and then again in August. And then as a part of that, which was really exciting, we had an opportunity to train our staff who wanted to be trainers. So that was really exciting that we could have staff that are really interested in this work and want to be a part of this work and lead this work to be able to volunteer to do that and rise up and take on that leadership role. So Shenandoah trained, there were 22 of us that were trained. I was one of them, in how to be a trainer. Because we couldn't just keep having Shenandoah come back here, we have all these wonderful educators here ready to lead and model this work, so it was great to be able to bring people along to do that. So from there, we had a core team that was formed. So that's part of the process, And our core team is 17 staff members from around the district who went through the train the trainer, and they volunteered to then lead this trauma-informed work. So, going back to cohort 4, we completed cohort 4 in December of this year, or of 2023, and those people that were trained by our own staff, our own trainers. So that was very exciting. And then coming up, we have more trainings coming up. We have 2 more cohorts coming up, one in June, one in August, and hopefully by the end of this school year, we can have 200 staff members. I keep putting it out there because we'd be at 191, and I keep saying, come on, let's make it an even 200. So this is our core team up here, and you can see that it's a diverse group of people. So we have administrators, we have counselors, we have preschool teachers, MTSS coordinators, paraprofessionals, supervisor of the ECC, just all different levels. And that's kind of the best part about this model and how we're doing our training right now, is because it's very diverse group of people. Usually as educators, we come in and we stick with our same group, and it's just, elementary teachers together, high school teachers together. This brought everyone together. So in our training, we have paraprofessionals, elementary teachers, secondary teachers, secretaries, maintenance. It's the wide range of the entire staff coming together. And the feedback we've had from all of our people that have gone through this is that's their favorite part. They're meeting people that they've never met before in the district, and they're spending 3 days together, 3 long days together in this room and learning about each other and really building that community. So that has just been fantastic. So this is just a picture of one of our trainings and everyone really having fun together. So here's the why. Some people might say, why trauma-informed training? So trauma impacts students' ability to learn, build relationships, and feel connected to the community. And we all know that children need to feel connected and a part of a community and build relationships with each other and with the adults with them to really thrive in learning. So this helps us to build that. When adults are trauma-informed, because we can't forget about the adults, right? That goal was staff and student wellness. So when adults are trauma-informed, it helps us understand the neuroscience behind trauma. That's a lot of the training is really diving into that neuroscience. And it helps support students, ourselves, and each other in a different capacity than we normally would. And we can build a community where everyone feels safe and successful. Here's another picture. As you can see here, everyone's up and moving around. Those aren't the trainers up there. Those are the participants. Those are our staff learning about this work. Everyone's getting up, they're involved, they're together, and they're presenting to each other. So the building blocks of a trauma-informed system is we start with the knowledge and understanding. That's where we are now. We're going to move into that language and our commitments to the practices, and in turn have, that building that stronger culture. So this is inside out work, which is really different for educators. We like to go and sit down and get a training and say, great, now what can I bring back to my students tomorrow and implement right away tomorrow? And so that was the biggest shift, I think, for us as we're being trained in this work. It's inside out work. There was nothing that you could walk away and hand out to your students the next day and do. It's inside out work. It's really changing a mindset. So to impact the world around us, we have to focus on our inner world. That's including being okay with asking for help, our relationships, our personal perspectives, living the trauma-informed values, prioritizing our safety, our home life, how trauma impacts us. And this will then in turn make changes with equity and inclusion, individual safety, wellness at work, community building, and a healthy culture. Just more pictures, because everyone was having so much fun. Here they had to draw something with their eyes closed, and it was with someone else giving directions, so that was a fun activity that they got to do. And then finally, just where does this all fit in? You know, everyone talks about social emotional learning. There's a lot that goes into social emotional learning. It's not just a one program type thing. It's all of these pieces. So trauma-informed practices fits right into that with restorative practices. We do have, of course, SEL, it's explicit instruction like Second Step or Character Strong. Diversity, equity, and inclusion right in with this as well as our curriculum. It's all a big, I guess you could call it a puzzle that all fits together, all these pieces together. And then from little seeds grow mighty trees. So we may be starting slow with this and planting the seeds within ourselves, but soon we'll grow this work into everything we do within our culture and community. That's all. Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions? Mrs. Alexander.
It's not so much a question, but more of a comment. So I've worked as a mental health and addiction professional for 25 years, and so I'm obviously very steeped in understanding of trauma, but I think one of the things that's so exciting is starting to see the education world embracing this and implementing this, because you can't separate. And just as we have pushed for so long to have physical medicine recognize and integrate, you know, the importance of mental health, we're seeing the same things now and the importance with education. So I'm just really excited about this.
It is exciting work.
Ms. Jasinski.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really excited to hear about this, and we're really proud. And I don't think fully training 200 of our staff members is a slow or a small start. So it's really exciting. But for like families and people, you know, we're so surrounded by buzzwords in education, right? And that wheel is really helpful to see how it does fit together. But through the trainings that you've had or in the conversations that you've had, what might you say to like a family or a student who says like, well, I don't have trauma in my life, like this doesn't apply to me? How is this helping them, and how does it fit into kind of our bigger picture here in Royal Oak?
I think it helps in many ways. I mean, I wouldn't sit there and argue with someone that, you know, everyone has a little bit of trauma, right? There's always something, right, that was within us. But if someone was to say that, it fits in because your teachers, your staff members are better for this. They themselves feel better inside and can help, you know, build that community around them. So I think with it being inner work, it's helping everyone.
Good. I just wanted to make sure we clarified that. So, yeah, thank you.
Mr. Jaworski?
Which leads me to a question. Have you seen or have the staff noticed the reaction of the students? How are they accepting this or taking it in?
So
Do they
it's
even know
not
what's happening?
anything that they really know about. It's something that's within us, and that we're starting to just understand maybe where some students are coming from differently, help supporting them differently, supporting each other differently, and just building that community. So I don't think it would be anything that a student would say, oh, wow, that was trauma-informed today, you know. It's just kind of all-encompassing. So hopefully they just feel it.
Perfect. So it's working.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
Mrs. Cook.
You know, with next steps, have we, you know, people who have been through the training and know this mindset, have we asked staff things that would be helpful to them, you know, more concretely in the schools to help them support each other and help them support the students so that we can get, you know, to that next step?
Right. We have. We always do a survey afterwards and get feedback Also, this is part of like an ongoing staff wellness goal for the district. So it's something that our my KIP team, or our like school improvement, district improvement team is working on as well. So we're constantly taking that pulse, hearing what they need, and helping to implement that.
Thank you. Any other questions? Oh, Dr. Uwanis.
Yeah, thank you, Mrs. Van Heitzma. You know, Mrs. Nipper, can you talk a little bit about some of the tools that we learned from the training with Shenandoah, the community meeting component? Those are some ways that I just realized that our students and staff would be noticing a little bit of some of the framework of the trauma-informed work. If you can talk a little bit about the community meeting component.
Sure. So that was the first component that we really decided to go to the wall for. Shenandoah said that if you start anywhere, start there. So community meeting, something that we ask everyone to do at every beginning of every meeting together. And that's just a time where you can do it whole group, you can split into little groups, and you just are asking each other, like, how are you feeling today? You know, being comfortable about talking about those feelings. So how are you feeling today? What do you want to get out of this session together today? And then who can you look for support? And those are the three questions that we ask each other at the beginning of every meeting. And it's not a time for us to try to rescue each other. It's a time for us to just get it out there, talk about those feelings, and then we can always come back and circle around and check in with a staff member if it seems like that's something that they wanted, may need more support on. That's also happening in some classrooms as well in the beginning of the day. It might look a little bit different, but it's a quick check-in in the morning, a quick temperature take. How are my students feeling today, individually, together as a group, so we can make sure that we're meeting the needs of everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I wasn't sure. Didn't want to cut you off. Okay, item 6.5, diversity, equity, inclusion. Ms. Phillips.
Okay, good evening, everyone. And I echo Mrs. Nipper's sentiments about just all the joy in the room today. I am so excited and inspired both by the art students and all of our educators that were honored today. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I first want to start off with just an overview of what we'll talk about, just a few points. So we'll have a reminder of Keller's International Festival that's coming up tomorrow, new MDE news, and then our Reading Rocks Tour wrap-up. So again, tomorrow is Keller Elementary's International Food and Fun Festival. We're really excited because a lot of things have come together for our entertainment parts of it. The Island Guys will be there for their steel drum duo, Polynesian dancers, our African storytelling. We have a gentleman coming from the Detroit Zoo to do that as well. And then on-site food trucks. And here are just some of the things that we'll see. And again, the students will have their displays there that they have made with their families at home. And I am so elated to to join this group with the DEI meet and greet booth. So I will be there from 6:15 to 7:30. I'll be there earlier, but for the booth will be running from 6:15 to 7:30, and anyone can come by, drop in, tell me anything they like about DEI and just different things that we're doing in the district. I can give them updates on as well. So please stop by. And then for new MDE news, we have the Michigan Department of Ed coming to do a DEI tour with Royal Oak Schools on April 29th. That's a Monday. Dr. Renee Garcia is the director of the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for the MDE, and I worked closely with her for the MDE Black History Month project that we've talked about during the past few meetings. She was so intrigued by all of the lessons and different conversations that we had that she said, I have to come out to see what you all are doing with the district. So she is bringing Jennifer Saylor, who is the Assistant Director of the Office of Educational Supports, we are going to tour a few different sites during their small time with us coming from Lansing, but we were able to wrap this around Rams's Inclusion Week, which I've included a little bit of their themes for the week. Monday, they're going orange for inclusion. Tuesday, they're going to have Silly Hat Day and embrace all of their acceptance of differences. Wednesday, they're going to wear red and pink and spread love. Thursday, we have special inclusion shirts, which are going to be amazing, and everyone will be wearing those. And then Friday is Superhero Day. Each of these days ties into different lessons throughout the building. So when we tour there, we'll be able to pop into a few classrooms and see them actually do the lessons. And the high school has their You Matter Week, and I'm thinking that around the time that we get to the high school, we'll be able to participate in their YMCA yoga activities. So I'm very excited. And while Dr. Renee Garcia and Mrs. Saylor said, we've been teachers before, we have been school administrators, please do not roll out the red carpet for us. We're going to give them the royal welcome for Royal Oak. So I'm so excited for this visit. And last but not least, our Reading Rocks tour. So we talked last month about our partnership that we did with the Royal Oak Public Library, giving us different donations for the bookmarks for the students, and teaming up with the board office staff and the school board members to go into different classrooms to read to students for music or for reading in our schools month. And we also did a little combination of music in our schools month that you'll see as well. So from March 11th to March 22nd, we matched up with the Reading Across America's March 2024 theme of celebrating diversity. We were able to, with all of the schools' participation, create a district-wide, shared, diverse, leveled library for the tour. So different volunteers were able to just pop in and grab the books that they need, and they did not have to guess about which grade level this will pertain to or what to grab. It was very easy for a check-in and check-out. And we ended up with 14 guest readers, 13 plus classrooms visited, and 800 plus students reached. I included a few of our thank you cards, and I just love these cards that were sent in and different pictures that they sent us. This one says, thank you, Ms. Phillips. I really like the books you read to us. And thank you for the bookmarks. And just one more thing. Thank you for making sure everyone in the school is treated equally. I really appreciate it. And that just touched my heart. I wanted to make sure I included everything in the wrap-up video, so I saved this for last because it was very heartwarming to see that the ECC students surprised me with a little song towards the end too. I want to extend a special thank you to all of our students, guest readers, principals, and teachers who made the 2024 Reading Rocks Tour possible. Please enjoy a few messages from our students about the tour and their love for reading.
Reading is fun. I like reading my book. Books are fun. I like reading with my cousins. I like reading with my teachers. I love reading my Christmas Madeline book. My favorite is How to Catch an Owl. Thank you, mystery readers. Reading rocks because I learn a lot. Readers are leaders because they do hard things. I love books because they make me happy. I love reading because it works my brain hard. I love reading because every book is a new adventure. I love reading because you can figure out new stories and tell them to your relatives and other people. I like reading because books are very interesting and they can help you learn new stuff. I like books because they're fun to read. Thank you to all the mystery readers. I like reading because it keeps me calm. Thank you to all of the mystery readers who read to us. Thank you, Miss Phillips. Thank you, Miss Phillips. Thank you, Miss Phillips. Thank you, Miss Phillips. Next time, won't you?
So brief thank you again to all of our participants, and definitely for our teachers sending out the pictures and then the different recordings. We just loved it, so thank you again. Thanks.
Okay, just a night of crying today. Well, thank you so much, and thank you for inviting us to participate. It was a blast. I just enjoyed it so much, and it was the first time I've actually read to a middle school class, too. And that was actually kind of cool. They were, I don't remember what it was actually called, but they were visualizing the story and drawing and doing drawings. What the actual phrase for it was. But it was just kind of cool because then at the end we saw their drawings and how they interpreted what the characters were and this, what the story was meaning to them and stuff like that. So I have to finish the book though, because after reading, a couple chapters, it was kind of one of those things. But I'm so grateful that we had that opportunity, and thank you for the video and just everything that you're doing. And I'm sorry, I have to admit, I will not be at Keller's event tomorrow night. It's probably the first time in a few years. We're at the Blessings in a Backpack is fundraiser tomorrow night, so conflicts and stuff. But I would love to be there, so I wish them the best on that. It's a fun event, and it just brings together so much culture that it's a really good feeling, so thank you. Mrs. Cook.
Yeah, I just wanted to echo the thank you for the opportunity. It was really wonderful getting to read to so many classrooms, and without exception, the kids were very engaged and asked good questions and gave good insights, and it was just really nice to be reading in front of a group of kids again. So thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Moving on to item 6.6, our student rep, Matthew.
Well, hello, everybody. Quickly, I'd like to say Alex couldn't be here with us tonight, but he told me to let you guys know that he's talking with some staff and students in the high school about ways to foster school community between the staff and students, and ways that we can sort of connect those two groups and figure out what does community mean to them and how can we help build community from both the teacher and the student side. So that's interesting work, and I'm glad he's doing it, and he'll probably be here to report next time. Now, also for me, as a former Keller student, I'm definitely going to be at the International Food and Fun Fest tomorrow. It's a great event. I would encourage anybody in the community to go to it. It's a ton of fun. The auctions always got interesting prizes. The performers are always great. And it'll be my first time back in a few years, so I'm really excited. And then for my work in the school, I've been talking with a few different groups about our auditorium and sort of changes, and we talked about that at a board lunch, but we've been following up on that, talking with some district tech people to look into what we can do to get that space up to the standard that it needs to be at, get some repair work done over the summer. So rest assured, we over here at the high school are sort of coordinating between the performing arts groups, drama club, and any other interest groups that need to use that space to get sure that their feedback will be heard, and we'll have more on that maybe for you, Miss Superintendent, as well as the rest of the board at future lunches. And I guess for my last thing, interviews are probably coming up for this position pretty soon, and I'd highly encourage any 11th to 12th grade, rising 11th and 12th grade students to please apply for this. It's been a great opportunity. I've learned so much about the district. I've learned so much about the people on the board and what they do. And I've learned a lot about how as a student, there's plenty of things that you can do. Don't just accept things that are the way they are. There's always something that you can do. You can reach out to people, and there's plenty of people who are eager to have you reach out to them and will jump on any opportunity they can to address your concerns. So if you have a concern, please don't be scared to bring it up. There's tons of people in this district that are looking out for you and are eager to make changes to best suit your needs. So I just encourage anybody who has even the slightest interest in applying, go ahead and apply, and I think it'll be a great experience for you.
Thank you. Mrs. Fitzpatrick.
Thank you. I just want to let everyone know that Matthew is referencing our new application period, which is open. Applications for those students, current sophomores and juniors, are being accepted through the 26th of April. And Ms. Ashburn took the links and the QR code and pushed it out to the parents of all of those students today. So in addition to our advertising to students and the good work that you're doing and the other board members or students are doing, we also put it out to our parents so that they can read about it and talk with their children about possibly applying. And then the interviews will be held that following first week in May. So it's been delightful to work with the students both here at the board table, at our finance and facility meetings, and at our lunches. We have wonderful lunches provided by Chartwells at each one of those, but often the students come and really advocate for the things that they want to see changed or questions that they have, and it's been good conversation. So I've appreciated that time, and I look forward to next year's applicants.
Thank you. And I just ditto what Mrs. Fitzpatrick said. I think it's just been a great addition to our board to have the students, and having the opportunity to have lunches with students is another great thing. And just to hear what they're just grateful to have somebody that's listening to what they want to say. And there's been solutions to problems that have existed, so I think that's really important. But always just having that, going to them in their space, I think is like one of the best things that we've done with these lunches. I think sometimes maybe people are afraid to do that, but I think as more students, come to have lunch with us, they'll understand that there's a benefit to doing that, and we appreciate that. So thank you very much. Item number 7, communications. Mrs. Anderson.
We've received just a few. We received one unsigned email. We received emails from Lamika Ramirez and Fatima Dakrub.
Thank you. Item number 8 is the consent agenda. Under consent agenda, we have item 8.1, payment of expenses. Do we have any additions or deletions? Seeing none, consent agenda passes. Item number 9, matters for discussion action. 9.1, Superintendent, Mrs. Fitzpatrick.
Well, thank you. This is the time of year to celebrate all of our staff members, and just today we held a secret meeting for our staff. We can't tell you all the details, but we're planning many, many special events for the month of May, which is our way to honor all of the district staff. It's often called Teacher Appreciation Week or Day, but we really will celebrate all staff all month long. And we have many special events. And right in line with our long-range plan, goal number 2 is community and how we can create relationships and be supported. We have many businesses and others in the community that are donating or contributing anything from free food to free consultation or other goodies for our bag, and working with Ms. Murphy and several others in the district, we're putting those together. So, but along those lines and along with those folks that we honored tonight, I also wanted to recognize that on Wednesday, April 3rd, it was Paraprofessional Appreciation Day, so a single day to talk about the paraprofessionals who originally was founded as a group to really honor those that serve next to others in the classroom. So often for students, these are folks who they become the closest to. And in many cases, they spend several years with the same adult helper and guide alongside those students with various teachers. And we know that our teachers need them, and more importantly, that our students work with them to learn and grow and become more independent. And so we wanted to really honor and appreciate the paraprofessionals in our district. Also, it was National Assistant Principals Week here in April. I've been a principal at several levels, and I will say that I could not have operated in many cases day to day without the help of the assistant principals who are there. They truly, in our district, are co-leaders of the buildings in each of the spaces, and whether they have the title of assistant principal or not, many, many teacher leaders support their schools and support their administrators, and we just wanted to recognize those staff, looking forward to our big district celebration month in May.
Thank you. Any questions? Thank you, appreciate that. Item number 9.2, curriculum instruction, Dr. Ioannis.
Thank you, Mrs. Van Heidsma. As we always know, this is the season for many of our performing arts students to have some of their showcased events, whether it be the choirs or the concerts or the plays. This is definitely an exciting time for our wonderfully talented students to show that off. And the main part of our focus for tonight's Insight into Curriculum video series is going to focus on performing arts in Royal Oak schools.
typical day in a music classroom in Royal Oak Schools can vary depending on when you decide to visit. So some days we might be singing and dancing, some days we might be playing on a variety of instruments, whether it's xylophones, ukuleles, violins, or recorders. Or maybe we're practicing for one of our yearly concerts for each grade level 1 through 5.
In elementary music, our whole focus is having the students learn all about the different elements of music in lots of different ways. So we sing, we dance, we play instruments, we do rhythm activities, and kind of just have fun.
Royal Oak Middle School does offer vocal music. Students come down every single day. We are lucky to be able to do that for our middle school students, and we're able to sing together every day. One of the periods of the day, we have a 6th grade choir, 7th grade choir, and an 8th grade choir called Choir 1, 2, and 3. We do have 4 live performances that we do every year, and our spring concert is the one where we get to hire in a live band to come play with the students while they are singing on stage.
The school district offers a lot of different opportunities for the performing arts at the high school level. I mean, we've got the things that you would expect to have, like a band program and a choir program, orchestra program as well. Not every school has an orchestra program, but Royal Oak does, which is awesome. We also offer a lot of other things that sort of show that the program is expanding beyond the standard BOC, band, orchestra, choir. There's actually a class guitar course. In previous years, we've offered a history of rock and roll, often taught by a teacher from the social studies department. We've also got a music theory class. This year, I believe, is being taught by the choir teacher, Kirsten Williams. There's a jazz band class that's offered, as well as marching band. It meets outside of school, obviously, but it's still a class you can earn credit for.
At the high school, we have our drama club, which produces a musical and a play each year. This is an after-school program, so students rehearse and run crews and do all of the prep work for the shows, either after school or on Saturdays.
Our performing arts here at the high school are particularly excellent, and I couldn't imagine being anywhere else. And it's honestly a joy to work amongst the communities that we have, whether it's band, orchestra, choir, or the drama club. We all are a very tight-knit community, and we work to help each other out. And there's nothing you'll find like it here at the school.
We have a show that we create each year here at Royal Oak Middle School. Our last one was Alice at Wonderland, and we have rehearsals leading up to that. In order to be a part of that, we host a drama club drop-in where we get to explain all of the different parts of drama club to students who are interested. After the show, we often have a lot of kids asking about, hey, how can I join drama club? Because they see, our playbills, or they came to watch the show. And it is a really big community that just continues to grow.
The classes we offer in vocal music at ROHS are 5 different ensembles. So we have 2 entry-level groups for sopranos and altos, and then tenors and basses. And then we have 2 audition choirs that meet during the day, and then 1 audition choir that meets after school, and that's kind of a commitment that students make. And then the last course that I teach is DP music.
I think music classes have a huge impact on students really throughout the state, but here in Royal Oak, I know there's many students that completely come to school just to be sure that they can come to these music classes, and I think that's a very positive impact.
Well, my hope is that my impact on students is always to give them a love for music, to have them intentionally choose music to be in their lives, whether they choose to be a musician or they just choose to enjoy music, but to have them understand the elements of music and to be able to pick those out and just help take away that mystery of music so they can enjoy it and appreciate the art that it is.
So I joined the performing arts as a cellist in orchestra in 6th grade, and I was really looking for a hobby that was sort of outside my usual realm of reading, snowboarding, things like that. I wanted a hobby that sort of required diligence, practice, and a sort of new skill set, right? Learning music, learning how to read music, learning how to play an instrument was something that I didn't know how to do before, and I knew about music and I listened to music, but learning to perform music was sort of a whole new challenge that I really was excited to take on.
Royal Oak Schools has a very well thought out and detailed plan for encouraging students to join the performing arts. So we have a series of events. First, there's the petting zoo, which is what we call it, where the kids each have a chance to like try a different instrument for a few seconds. And then we have, a tour where the high school kids go and play at the elementaries, make the elementary kids go, wow, that was so awesome. And then we invite the students to come in, and we have a whole recruiting session where the kids come in and they all get a lot more specific time to look at either the trombone or the flute or the trumpet or the viola or the cello or whatever it might be. And at that point, we figure out which kid is best suited for which instrument.
I encourage students to join the performing arts through many different ways. I go and visit the middle school and try to just get to meet them, get to know them, encourage them of what kind of family atmosphere we provide at the high school. So it's a great course to kind of transition into the high school because kids get to meet students from so many different grade levels. It's a family atmosphere. It is a good break in their day where they get to just let loose a little bit and make music.
The arts are really important for students who have more of a creative passion, who enjoy more abstract thinking and creativity, to have an outlet for doing so within the school day and really discovering a purpose for what they're doing.
I believe the performing arts is important as an outlet for people who may not be able to express themselves otherwise. And obviously, there are some people who just aren't super athletic but still want to be involved in their community, and the performing arts is a wonderful way of doing that. And being able to share such a beautiful gift with others is something that I wouldn't trade for anything.
I think the arts are important because so many different reasons. One would be the arts are important because it's how we learn to empathize. We get to walk through the shoes of somebody else. We get to experience different cultures. It's just a really engaging learning tool and growth tool for everybody to be able to put themselves in these new experiences.
The arts are so important because it helps to create an entire person. It makes us human, and it creates a community where people can perform together, make art together, and without art, we wouldn't have any culture.
Well, thank you again to all the teachers and staff members that work with our wonderful students to help bring out these talents that we were able to enjoy during this season. And I commend all the students that are willing to go out there and show us their expertise outside of the classroom. I do want to share one last update. This is an annual opportunity that our fifth graders have here in Royal Oak Schools to work with Judge Derek Meineke in the Justice 101 program. This has been a long-standing tradition that happens for our fifth graders, and as a former elementary building principal, I got a first-hand opportunity to see how excited these fifth graders are. Number one, to have Judge Meineke come into the schools, and what he initially does is has several sessions throughout their fifth grade year where he comes in and teaches them about the different components of a courtroom, the proceedings, and kind of just how the court system works. To see him work with students is really phenomenal because he is so engaging and answers all their questions. And then the students get a chance to take a field trip to the courthouse and see some of the proceedings that are taking place. They get a chance to go back and see his chamber, and then they also get a chance to get a special tour that day. And then he follows up with another classroom discussion with those fifth graders again. I mean, he is a wonderful teacher where he connects the experiences that they've had to some of the real life scenarios and situations. So that's just something that we do around this spring season, and I just wanted to commend Judge Meineke, and I know our fifth grade students firsthand love and enjoy that experience. So that's all I have for the updates for this month.
Thank you. Any questions for Dr. Uenis? Thank you. Love the video. I always loved your videos. They're really well done, and thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you to Jarek Grishmer, who really works hard to put together these videos. He's back there making sure that everything sounds right and looks good, but he is always willing and ready to take what you see right here. And there's a lot of work that goes behind the scenes, and he works with our teachers and staff, and thank him for doing that on a monthly basis. And we ask a lot of him, but we appreciate what he does.
Well, thank you, Jarrett. Item 9.3, Finance, Facilities, and Bond. Mrs. Abella.
Good evening. I have two things for your consideration this evening. 9.3.1 is an extension of several lease agreements for 1 year. These are for community groups that either use our space or district property. The 5 leases that are attached to your board agenda this evening are for Royal Oak Youth Assistance, Royal Oak Community Coalition, YMCA, the use of Royal Oak Middle School for after-school programming, and 2 agreements with the city, one for the use of Grant Park and the other for the use of some of our parking lots during Arts, Beats, and Eats. Do you have any questions about that resolution?
We did discuss them at Finance and Facilities last week as well, so thank you for that. Do we have a 9.3.1 lease agreements? Do we have a recommendation, Mrs. Cook?
Resolved that the Royal Oak Schools Board of Education hereby approves the lease agreements as provided in the board packet.
Can we have a second, please? Mrs. Alexander, can we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Jasinski?
Yes.
Trustee Cook?
Yes.
I'll vote yes. Trustee Alexander?
Yes.
Trustee Jaworski?
Yes.
Trustee Van Heitzma?
Yes.
The motion passes.
The other I have is 9.3.2, which is a chair purchase. This is to replace the chairs here in the main conference room of the district. The ones that we currently have been in the district for many years, and we are not disposing of them. That we have other uses in some rooms around the board office. But it's a chair refresh so that even Ms. Nipper talked about all the trainings that go on in this room. There's a lot of flexibility. This room is used probably every day of the year. And it's used in a variety of ways. So this will also help with the ease of transitioning from one program to the next, or from a training during the day to a board meeting at night. So that is on for your consideration. The chairs were tried out by many of us last week at Finance and Facilities, and we had a lot of fun here at the board office as well. There's still look like a waiting room out by my office, but we've had a lot of input, and we have settled on which chair I think we're going to move forward with. So coming soon.
Thank you. And yes, thank you for having them at the finance meeting so we could test drive the chairs, if you will. Can I have a recommendation, please? Mrs. Alexander?
Resolved that the Board of Education authorize the superintendent to approve the purchase of furniture for the main conference room of Royal Oak Schools for an amount not to exceed $40,000.
Can we have a second, please? Mrs. Anderson, can we have a roll call?
Trustee Cook?
Yes.
I'll vote yes. Trustee Alexander?
Yes.
Trustee Jaworski?
Yes.
Trustee Van Heitzma?
Yes.
Trustee Jasinski?
Yes.
And this motion passes.
Thank you. I'm making sure you're done. So-
I am.
Okay.
I just was waiting for that. Anything new
The
on
budget question?
I think we have a little ways to wait before we'll have news from the state.
Unfortunately, spring break has passed, and we do not have any recommendations from the Senate and the House. So all things that we have discussed previously are what we know. So thank you.
Thank you. Item 9.4, Staff and Student Services, Mr. Walensky.
Thank you, Ms. Van Heitzma. I just have 2 updates and 2 items on the agenda for your approval. Start with just brief updates. I always talk about enrollment. It's going very well, and if kindergarten and DK enrollment is indication of whether or not enrollment will increase, I think it will. I can tell you that to date we have 307 children enrolled for kindergarten in the fall and 69 enrolled for DK. So last fall we started the school year with 366 children enrolled for kindergarten and 87 for DK. So we're already getting close. And those numbers do not include the 61 schools of choice applications we received for kindergarten and the 8 for DK. So it's been a very busy time in the enrollment office, which is good. We also have to monitor the numbers and grade levels as they move up to determine our staffing for next year. So the window for schools of choice was March 1st and closed March 29th, and we officially received 148 applications. We won't enroll that many. We had a lot more applications than actually materialized, but more to come on that. The Royal Oak High School principal search, as you know, we've been holding interviews for the Royal Oak High School position. Every one of the candidates interviewed, their feedback for us is you guys put a lot of people at the table. We had 29 panelists, and so a lot of feedback from those people. We held our third and final round of interviews Friday, to which we invited 3 finalists. We're now very close to our final selection. We're just vetting those final people. As I said, we had 29 panelists involved in the process, consisting of administrators, teachers, parents, students. Matthew and Alex were on the interview committee, and 1 board member, Miss Alexander. So very arduous process, but I'm convinced, I know we're going to have a good principal. For your approval, item 9.4.1 is a list of our personnel changes since we last met. On that list, you'll see 2 employees who, 3 resignations. 2 are from employees who've been gone all year on a leave of absence and then decided not to return. 1 to pursue other opportunity in business, and 1 a parental leave of absence. And then 1 resignation for personal reasons. We also received 2 retirement notifications, 1 from Leslie Schell, a paraprofessional for ROMS, who's been in the district since 1993, so 31 years. And the other from Terry Kramer, who we met tonight, has been in the district since 1991, 32 years, and she's most recently been a paraprofessional at Adams ECC, as you heard tonight. Also on that report are 2 recommendations for hire, 2 speech and language pathologists, which has been an increasing need in recent years for our early childhood children. But so fortunately, we were able to hire 2 more, Sari Keller, who will be serving at Keller Elementary and Adams ECC, and Jean Campbell, who will also be serving the Adams ECC children. So that report is for your approval.
Thank you. Can we have a recommendation, please? Mrs. Cook?
Resolved, the Royal Oak Schools Board of Education approves the regular personnel changes as provided in the board packet.
Can I have a second, please? Mrs. Alexander, can we have a roll call, please?
Sorry.
Please hold. Discussion.
Ms. Wilski, I see that one of the speech pathologists that we're hiring starts in July.
Yes, that is correct. She's currently employed elsewhere and is finishing the school year, but yeah, she will be joining us July 1st.
Perfect.
Okay.
I'll vote yes. Trustee Alexander?
Yes.
Trustee Jaworski?
Yes.
Trustee Van Heitzma?
Yes.
Trustee Jasinski?
Yes.
Trustee Cook?
Yes.
And this motion passes.
Okay, thank you. The next item on the agenda for your approval is item 9.4.2. I'm reading my notes, an LOU with the ROEA. That's a letter of understanding with the Royal Oak Education Association. And this is something teachers are, as they should be, very excited about. It's $27K student loan forgiveness. It's a loan forgiveness for any staff member who works directly with students, and they must be in the federal loan program and have met specific criteria to be eligible. And that grant was submitted today. And the LOU really with the teachers union just is a release of liability for us. We've also contracted with an organization called Your Money Line to manage distribution of this federal loan, student loan repayment. And that's for your approval as well.
Any resolution?
No, I was
Or
going
question?
to ask a question.
Okay, go ahead.
We talked about this at our meeting, and I'm wondering, could you, either Ms. Zabella or Mr. Walensky, explain about the process and how this all works? Because it was very involved.
Right, so that's why we contracted with Your Money Line to do this. There were many criteria that, quite frankly, I just didn't understand. Number one, they had to have student loans. They had to still be held by the federal government. They couldn't have been debt consolidated. They had to be in one of the 5 income-driven repayment plans. They had to, and Pat signed a lot of these in the last 2 weeks, they had to be a certified through MOHELA, is that what it is, in order to public?
Yeah, it's the Public Student Loan Forgiveness Program.
So lots of those came to Pat's email. One even came to my email today, and I got nervous and passed it on to Pat, because I'm not really sure what I'm agreeing to. So there was a lot of benchmarks, and we had to make sure that they were eligible in many ways. One of the other things that your money line is taking care of for us is that people have to continue to make their payments, stay eligible, and they're going to continue to keep track of those details for us. So I hope that answers your question.
Any other questions, Mrs.? Oh, resolution. All right, go ahead, Mrs. Cook.
Resolved, the Royal Oak Schools Board of Education approves the repayment program as provided in the board packet.
Can we have a second, please? Mrs. Anderson, roll call?
Trustee Alexander?
Yes.
Trustee Jaworski?
Yes.
Trustee Van Heitzma?
Yes.
Trustee Jasinski?
Yes.
Trustee Cook?
Yes.
I'll vote yes, and so the motion passes.
Thank you, and thank you to the board office team for ensuring that our staff has that opportunity. I think it's a great program and one that we shouldn't have passed up, so I'm grateful that we did do that. Thank you. Oh, Mrs. Anderson?
I did want to comment, as I recall, many districts aren't participating in this, so I did want to commend you and say thank you. I think that's great.
I'm hopeful that this will assist us with staff retention as well. It goes a long way in that effort.
I just thought of something. Is this something that will be available again for additional student or additional teachers to apply for? Or is that an unknown at this point?
At this point, that's still an unknown. So that might be something that you can work with.
Thank you, Jared. Just for our viewing audience, we had a little power outage and lost our feed to the board meeting, so we just paused. So we're back and moving on to item 10, our second public comment for the evening. Same rules apply. And seeing as we have no public comment, we'll move on to item number 11, board comments and committee reports. First one is Arts and Preservation. Mrs. Anderson?
We met last Monday, I think it was, and we had a very productive meeting. We talked about some different things, the plaques that we're going to be putting up to commemorate the tile installations, the Longfellow lintel that's over at the middle school. It's beautiful. Where we may be able to possibly showcase these murals that are behind us in a different location where we can explain what they are and their significance. So, and if you want to join us, let us know. You can contact Amy Murphy at the district or me at my email, my district email, but we'd love to have everyone in the community join us. It's a really great committee, and I think we're going to accomplish some wonderful things.
Thank you. Oakland 100 Committee, Ms. Usinski?
Yeah, hi. So while we're not officially a committee of the school board, we did want to make sure that we were providing regular updates as this new group began to meet, even though we're, only going to be kind of a temporary group. And so our wonderful Amy Murphy is really spearheading this excellent new adventure. But we have a new group meeting regularly called, we're calling ourselves Oakland 100, to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the Oakland Elementary School building. We've decided kind of on a theme for this celebration. It's going to be Oakland Through the Ages, where we celebrate everything that's happened, as well as the growth and changes to the building itself, and also the students that have kind of come in and out of it. So we want to, I know it seems like a far way off, but we want everyone to save the date for September 20th in the fall. It's going to be the evening of the celebration. It's going to be kind of an open house format with a ceremony about midway in between, where we welcome back any interested interested community members, people who are currently Oakland students, Oakland alumni, former teachers and families who want to come in and see some of the changes to the building. There's been some additions, and actually with our newest bond, right? We've done a lot of improvements to the physical building itself, and I think that you'll be really impressed. We're looking to highlight some of the things that have happened over time. We're going to have some historic sort of displays. We're working really closely with the city and the Royal Oak Historical Society. We'll be able to showcase student work. We're going to have some music performances, some maybe some jazz music, so we can kind of pull back in. We can connect the 2020s to the 1920s. And then we're also going to be doing some fundraising where we are going to design and sell a t-shirt, and possibly we're talking about like a mug with an original blueprint on it, which I'm really excited about. I think it would be very cool. As well as, you know, some notable alumni, past teachers, former principals, and all that kind of stuff. It's really been wonderful to serve on this group. Even though I'm so new to the school board, it's really exciting to see how many people just have this like generations of history, both in our district and with the building. And so it's been really excellent to see how that's coming together. If you are interested in meeting with us, if you have ties to Oakland and this is like a project you feel strongly about, you're welcome to join us. You'll also need to reach out to Amy Murphy, so she's going to get a flood of emails. But we are beginning to meet regularly, and like I said, we'd really love to see everybody in the community. September 20th in the evening. Events start at 6 p.m.
Thank you. Mrs. Fitzpatrick?
So just a quick update that I heard about this project today that I wanted to share. Judy Davids from the city reached out to say that Mayor Fournier would like to donate, the city would like to plant a new oak tree at Oakland. And so that is something new that will be added to it. And so, but that's going to take place shortly in terms of the tree planting. So we're working on the exact spot with Miss Abella and Mr. Sinowek of exactly where that will be, and then work with the city to get there. So we're very appreciative of this connection to Oakland and to the city of Royal Oak.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry, that did just happen today.
Yeah.
One of our citizen members who's on the committee, who's very, very dedicated to the success of this project, did go back through a bunch of historical records and found out that April 19th is the official 100th year anniversary of the opening of the actual building. So that's very cool.
Very cool. Thank you. Curriculum Committee, Mrs. Cook?
Thank you. The Curriculum Committee met on March 19th, and I have to mention that we did open the meeting using those trauma-informed questions we talked about earlier. We talked about how we were feeling and what we hope to get out of that meeting, and so those things are getting incorporated throughout our district. And we were talking about the reading curriculum and reviewing what we have, and looking at piloting some options. And so there's been a research phase that has been concluded, and now we're into the resources phase. And in that resource phase, we're going to take a couple of resources. There are like 3 different resources, and narrow those down to 2 that we want to go forward with a pilot program with. And then we should be able to make a recommendation for for which of those resources we would want to go forward with in March of 2025 is what I've got on here, if everything goes to plan. Another thing that was talked about is that at the late start days, there's a book that staff are looking at in the elementaries, talking about reading, and it's called Shifting the Balance. And so they're covering elements of that book in some of the late start PDs. And the next curriculum meeting will be May 21st.
Thank you. Any other board comments, updates? Mrs. Fitzpatrick?
Thank you. I just wanted to mention, and when Ms. Phillips was talking about the MDE visit for the board members, I will be distributing a schedule of the day's events, which schools we'll be at. So if you would like to join us at any one of the schools as we go around the district, you're welcome to join us at any point or throughout the entire visit. But Ashley and I met and went over a tentative schedule for their entire visit and aligning it with things already occurring in the building. And we would be happy to have you join us. So I will be sharing that with the board members so that you can, join along.
Thank you. I did want to just give a kudos to Commissioner Colo. He had brought forth, sent out an email in regards to the Protect My Kids bill package, so I wanted to give him a thank you for that and sharing that with us, as the city had done something similar. So I think it's important. I'm grateful for that partnership and for the sharing of that information. Nobody else has anything? Mr. Jaworski.
Just want to remind everybody that the city is starting a pretty substantial construction project, I believe next week, down Crooks Road. That's going to go from Main Street all the way to 13 Mile Road. The emphasis seems to be on the impact it's going to have on Northwood, but it's going to also affect those students driving to the high school. It's cutting the city pretty much in half. It starts next week. I believe it goes through October. So it's going to be the end of the school year and the beginning of next school year, just so everyone's aware of that construction project that's happening.
Fun, fun, fun. Yeah, okay. If nothing else, I think we are adjourned.